Jay Swaminarayan. Dear devotees, have you ever seen a cow? So timid and calm nature, isn't it? But when she gives birth to her calf, she becomes so emotional and loving to her calf. If anybody would try to trouble her calf, that same timid cow will become furious. Nobody can go near to that cow because she loves her calf so much. She keeps on licking her calf and making clean. This kind of love of cows towards calf is called Vatsalya. In the same way, God also has such kind of Vatsalya for His devotees. That is why God is known as a Bhakta Vatsal. God's nature is so merciful, so kindful, so compassionate. But if anybody troubles His devotees, God becomes so furious and ferocious because God is Sharanagat Pratipalak. God is so much committed to protect His devotees, to love His devotees. God can bear His own insult, but cannot bear the insult of His devotees. Well, we are discussing the characteristics of Upasana with this Nirvikalpa prayer. In this prayer, Premanand Swami asked the fourth boon to Bhagwan Swaminarayan, which is that, Tumaro tava hari bhakta ko droha kabu nahi hoy. O Bhagwan Swaminarayan, lest never ever I offend to you and your devotees. Dear devotees, in the spiritual world, the biggest sin is to offend God and His devotees. Knowingly or unknowingly, if a true devotee is offended by our thoughts, by our words, or by our actions, it can create a terrible disasters in our spiritual life. Well, today you will get the 5 answers of the 5 questions. We will understand, you will get the answers that will help you to remain safe from this biggest sin in the spiritual world. Dear devotees, now the first question is, what offends God? In Vachanamrutam, Bhagwan Swaminarayan said, the most offending thing for the God is to believe God as Nirakar, to believe God as formless. You know, some people in this world, they believe that God has no any certain form, any certain shape. They believe that God is Nirakar, formless, and it's just a divine light. That's it. But tell me, if God is just a light, then whom to love, whom to please, whom to serve? Love to light? This Nirakar philosophy kills the love and devotion for the God. It kills the Upasana, it kills ultimately the salvation, the moksha. In Upanishad it is said that Sa Akshata, God saw, God have seen. What does it mean? If one sees, how can he see without eyes? When we say that he saw, that means he has eyes. And if he has eyes, that means he has other organs too. This proves that God has a definite form, definite shape. God is Sakar, not Nirakar. Let me give you one small example. Tell me, what is this? Tell me, what is this? This is water pot, right? This water pot is made of clay. Clay itself turned into the water pot, right? Now tell me, if clay will be Nirakar, then how can a pot will be Sakar? You have to make little sense here. If clay is Nirakar, how can a pot be Sakar? The sense is that if creation is Sakar, that means Creator also will be Sakar. In the same way, if this creation, this world universe is Sakar, that proves that the Creator also will be Sakar. That's why God is always Sakar, but not Nirakar. If we want to reach God, if we want to be free from the suffering of cycle of birth and death, then we have to come out from the trap of this Nirakar philosophy. Never ever hear such kind of Nirakar philosophy talks. Never read such kind of Nirakar scriptures. Now the second question is, what are the consequences for offending God? There are mainly two consequences. Number one, loss of salvation. And number two, horrible punishment in the hell. One who believes God as formless, Nirakar, he loses the possibility and eligibility for the moksha to attain the salvation. And number two, one who believes God as Nirakar, he gets the horrible punishment in the hell. Now you may raise a doubt that why this much big punishment for just believing God as formless? It's just a belief. Why this much big punishment? But my dear devotees, there are two reasons for this big punishment. Number one who believes God as formless and Nirakar, he just doesn't believe for himself, he also spread that belief to others. Of course, he is killing his salvation, but he is also killing other people's salvation also. He is also misleading other people. That is the first reason. Second reason is, there is a law of defamation. To distort the glory of great person is also an offense. If someone distorts the glory of Prime Minister with wrong statements, it's a crime. Then God is the King of all the kings. He is the Creator. He is the supreme honor of this universe, all creation. If someone distorts the glory of God, defames the glory of God, isn't it insult of God? Shouldn't he be punished? Yes or no? For these two reasons, one who believes God is Nirakar, he gets the punishment in the hell. Now the key question is, what causes the offense to the devotee of God? In Vachanamrutam, Bhagwan Swaminarayan has said, greed, ego, jealousy, anger. These are the four vices cause the harm and offense to the devotee of God. Let's take few examples. There was a true devotee of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, namely Nath Bhakta, who used to live in Vadodara. He was having so poor family. Once upon a time, Narupant Nana, who was the minister in the royal court of Vadodara, he came to Nath Bhakta and he took 2 buffaloes. Narupant Nana said, I will pay the price afterwards. Few months passed away, but Narupant Nana did not pay the amount. Nath Bhakta was suffering financially, so Nath Bhakta came to Narupant Nana and asked that please pay the amount because it's difficult for me to run my family. Narupant Nana said, I will pay you afterwards. Actually, Narupant Nana was greedy. He was not wanted to pay the amount. But so many months passed, but Narupant Nana did not pay. Meanwhile, Gopalanand Swami came to Vadodara. Nath Bhakta came to Gopalanand Swami and requested, Swami, this is the problem. Gopalanand Swami said, call Narupant Nana. Narupant Nana came for the darshan of Gopalanand Swami. In front of Gopalanand Swami, Nath Bhakta requested to Narupant Nana that please pay that amount. Narupant Nana saw that in front of saints and in front of this many people, this poor fellow asking me for the money. Anyways, he was minister, he was egoistic. He took out his chappal and he raised his hand to beat that Nath Bhakta. But Gopalanand Swami stopped him. For the respect of Gopalanand Swami, Narupant Nana did not do anything. He left from there. Anyways, afterwards, Narupant Nana has given money to the Nath Bhakta, but by the harm and hurt to the Nath Bhakta, the intellect of Narupant Nana became vicious, became spoiled, contaminated, and adharma has entered in the mind of Narupant Nana. And after few days, Narupant Nana was caught in the conspiracy against the king, and afterwards he was badly punished for that. What do this example indicate? One who has such kind of vices like greed, ego, anger, it will cause the offense to the devotee of God, and finally that offense will turn his intellect vicious. There is one more great example of Jay and Vijay, who were the redeemed souls, who were the guards in the gateway of Vaikuntha Dham. When 4 sages, Sankadik, they came for the darshan of Bhagwan Narayan. So this Jay and Vijay, they made a fun of them because they were with the bare body. Seeing Jay and Vijay as an obstacle to have darshan of Bhagwan Narayan, Sankadik Rishi, they given curse to Jay and Vijay, and we know that Jay and Vijay fell on the earth and they had to become demon for the 3 births. So this is how these 4 vices cause the harm and offense to the devotee of God. Dear devotees, it is also necessary to understand that there are 3 ways through which one offends a devotee of God: by thoughts, by speech, and by actions. If we just think bad or negative about a devotee of God, that is also an offense to a devotee of God. One person took the fault of Muktanand Swami when Muktanand Swami was having prasad, food, by mixing it in the wooden bowl. So that person thought that Muktanand Swami is great, but he is little taste-minded. He took the fault of Muktanand Swami in his mind. After taking that fault of Muktanand Swami, wherever he goes, whatever he sees, everywhere, he started to see the small insects. Everywhere, he is seeing small insects. When he sat for the food, in the food also he is seeing everywhere the small insects. He is unable to eat. For a couple of days, he couldn't eat because of these insects. Afterwards, he realized that this is happening because of taking fault of Muktanand Swami. Immediately, he rushed towards Muktanand Swami and he fell at the feet of Muktanand Swami and said that, "Swami, please forgive me." Muktanand Swami said, "It's okay." Muktanand Swami prayed to Bhagwan Swaminarayan. And after that, for him, this all became normal. Now, second one is offense by speech, by words. In Mahabharata, you know the story that Karna has humiliated Draupadi with using vulgar words, bad words in front of the people. By words, he offended a devotee of God, and we know that he had to die without any glory. Third kind of offense is by action. Hiranyakashipu all the ways tried to kill Prahaladji, a devotee of God. That is called offense by action. So as a devotee of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, we must be careful, alert, and we must be fearful that lest never ever we offend any devotee of God by thoughts, by speech, and by action. Now, the fourth question is, what are the consequences for offending a devotee of God? Dear devotees, harming any living being is violence and sin. But to harm and hurt a devotee of God is the biggest sin. Mainly, there are 4 consequences for offending a devotee of God. Number 1, our intelligence turns vicious. We just knew the story of Narupant Nana. By hurting Nath Bhakta, his intelligence became vicious. Afterwards, he doesn't get good ideas, positive ideas. He gets the vicious thoughts, sinful thoughts. He loses the purity of intelligence. Number 2, loss of glory. Karna has spoken the vulgar words for the devotee of Lord Krishna, Draupadi ji. So Karna did not get any glory, though he was so mighty. But he did not get any glory, though he was a son of sun, Surya Narayan, though he did not get any glory. Number 3, loss of salvation. Ultimately, he loses his salvation. And number 4, horrible punishment in the hell. That is sure. One who offends the devotee of God, he will never be forgiven, except that devotee. Now the last and most important question, what to do if a devotee is offended by us? Dear devotees, you know the story of Durvasa Muni and Ambarish Maharaj. When Durvasa Muni, out of anger, he created a demoness to kill Ambarish Maharaj. But she couldn't do anything because Sudarshan Chakra was in the protection of Ambarish Maharaj. Afterwards, that Sudarshan Chakra is rushing behind Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni is running here and there in the universe and asking for the help from the different gods, but nobody is helping him. Finally, Durvasa Muni came to Bhagwan Narayan and he said that, "Please God, save me, save me." Bhagwan Narayan said that, "I can't save you." Durvasa Muni said, "Oh God, you are almighty, you are all powerful. Please save me, protect me from your Sudarshan Chakra." Bhagwan Narayan said, "No, I cannot save you. Whom you have offended, you go and ask for the forgiveness. If that devotee will forgive you, only then you will be survived from the Sudarshan Chakra, otherwise I am helpless." Durvasa Muni rushed towards Ambarish Maharaj and fell at the feet of Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj calmed down Sudarshan Chakra. What is the message here? When we offend a devotee of God, even God cannot save us from the bad consequences. Only that devotee, if he forgives us, only then we can be free from the bad consequences of that offense. So my dear devotees, we all have become a devotee of Bhagwan Swaminarayan for the salvation of our soul, for the liberation of our soul. We must fear from hurting a devotee of God. For teaching a lesson to all saints and devotees, Bhagwan Swaminarayan himself used to perform one extra dandavat every day to God. As a devotee of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, whenever we go for the darshan of God, we must do 5 dandavat and one extra dandavat as an apology for any knowingly, unknowingly offense done for the devotee of God. So my dear devotees, let's never ever believe God as Nirakar, and let's never offend saints and devotees of God, and let's become a true Ekantik devotee of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. Thank you. Jay Swaminarayan.